Hello, I'm Carol Hilty, Superintendent of the Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind, CSDB. Welcome. I'm happy that you have decided to watch this program. I hope that you enjoy it. We welcome your feedback.
Learning from adult role models who are deaf or hard of hearing, presented by Outreach Programs, the Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind. The CSDB logo is displayed with the tagline, Learning, Thriving, Leading. Our presenter is standing beside a bookcase in a library media center with a brick wall in the background. He is communicating in sign language with voice narration. Captions are below on screen. Title, Aaron.
Hi, I'm Aaron Kellogg. This is my sign name. And I'm from CSDB. That's the Colorado School for the Deaf and Blind. I'm not really deaf. I'm hard of hearing. I'm completely deaf in my left ear. But in my right ear, I use a special device, a hearing aid. And I can hear as well as hearing people. Growing up, I used oral communication, signed exact English, pidgin signed English, and ASL. And I became proficient in all of them. First, I went to public school, and I used 2 hearing aids. I was very small. But my mom noticed that when the battery died in my right hearing aid, and my left hearing aid was the only one working, I wasn't able to pick up sound like I could when the right one was working. And that's when we discovered that I was completely deaf in my left ear, and we decided to stop using the left aid. Public school was really frustrating for me. Communication was tough. I was communicating with the teacher through an interpreter, while my peers were able to talk with the teacher directly. So I told my mom I wanted more direct, natural communication. So I went to a deaf school in Ohio. I went there until I was 10 and moved here to Colorado. In Ohio, I was very happy. All the students were the same as me, and communication was more natural. So I grew up learning American Sign Language, signed exact English, pidgin signed English. I learned all 3 of those because people communicate in different methods. Some people use oral communication and prefer signed exact English, and if I only knew ASL, it would make communication with these people difficult. So I learned all these different ways to communicate so I could talk with a variety of different people.
Title, Family Support.
My mom knows ASL. She's licensed. She's been the principal of numerous deaf schools. She understands deaf culture even though she's hearing. She has a PhD. She always had very high expectations for my sister and me. She placed a heavy emphasis on education. My dad, he was a typical dad. He was a mechanic, very caring. But my mom, she was really the one who watched over our education. And really, that helped me a lot. For example, I tried a lot of different schools, and they weren't really matching my educational level. Went to different schools in Ohio, went to Ohio School for the Deaf, went to a public school called Windermere. Moved around quite a bit. Colorado, too. I went to RMDS, went to Vivian. And finally, we found a good match. Going through all that, finding that school that matched me, that whole experience really helped me a lot. Made me into a stronger person.
Title: Advice for Parents.
The most important thing a parent can do to help their child is communicate with him or her. It doesn't matter that the child's deaf and the parents may be hearing. They need to know that communication is still the key. If you want to help your child succeed, it's as simple as communication. It's hard, I get it. It takes a huge sacrifice. My mom sacrificed her time. She's hearing, but she sacrificed her time. She put me in the best school, best education. It didn't matter if I could hear or not. My mom kept at it until I was successful. Communication doesn't only mean speaking with your voice. It can be signed, just like I'm using here.
Title: Challenges.
In the mainstream classroom, I was faced with some pretty tough challenges. Sometimes it was difficult to communicate with my interpreter, my peers, my teachers, and really anybody else that I might come in contact with. Sometimes when talking to my interpreter might not understand me, even though I'm signing perfectly clear. So I'd have to slow my sign down. It was really a waste of my time. By the time I'd slowed my sign down, by the time the interpreter had changed my sign to English, it took twice as long, and my friends had already given up and left. It wasn't my fault, but it was beyond my control. Sometimes I would try to use my voice, but I couldn't speak as well as the other hearing kids. I was using Pidgin signed English at home, American Sign Language in my deaf classroom at school, and speaking with my hearing friends. So it was a real challenge keeping everything straight.
Title: Future Plans.
My plans for the future now, well, let me back up. So I'm in high school now, and once I've succeeded here, I've got to start thinking about my future. What am I going to do? Well, I really like to help people in general. And I love math. It's my strongest subject. So a great job that would allow me to do both would be to become a math teacher. But really, there are all sorts of things I could do.
Learning from adult role models who are deaf or hard of hearing has been a production of the Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind, 33 North Institute Street, Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80903, 719-578-2100, www.csdb.org. Videography by Deb Branch and Sean Leveille. Copyright 2014.
Audio description, Jim Olson. Editing assistants, Diane Covington, Dr. Laura Douglas. Captioning, Neil Anthony Thomas, Corey McCormick. Transcription, Eleanor Vasquez.
Ski. Ski. Ski.
Snowboard. 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 Hey!
Hi,
What did you do this weekend?
I went skiing.
Wow, you ski? I snowboard. Do you mind if I join you?
Of course. Come with me. You snowboard, and I want to learn. Would you mind teaching me?
Sure, I'm happy to teach you. All right.
Ski. Ski. Ski.
Snowboard. 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 Learning from adult role models who are blind or low vision, presented by outreach programs, the Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind. The CSDB logo is displayed with the tagline, Learning, Thriving, Leading. A man is standing in front of a wall holding a long white cane. Captions are below on screen. Title, Brent.
Hi, my name is Brent Patron, and I am the Director of Youth Programs at the Colorado Center for the Blind. The cause of my blindness is retinitis pigmentosa, which essentially, instead of the retina being gray, ends up being black and white, and there are pieces in my vision that I don't see. For instance, I am blind in my left eye totally, and I can only see centrally in my right eye. And I can see further away than I can see up close, and I can still read print as long as it's large enough, but not all the time.
Title, Assistive Devices.
I use a cane as my primary mobility device. I use JAWS for the computer. I use a Braille note taker. I use a CCTV from time to time to read bills and whatnot. Those are the primary assistive devices that I use.
Title, Education and Career.
My education background is that I have a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, and I started off as a mathematics major when I was a freshman in college, and then when my vision started to decrease, I decided that mathematics was not what I should do, and I took the easy way out because of my vision loss. For my job, the major thing that has helped me is the skills that I acquired at the Colorado Center for the Blind in the Independence Training Program, where I learned Braille, cane travel, computer technology, daily living skills, really received the positive philosophy of blindness, and did a lot of challenge recreation, which built my confidence and expectations in myself as a blind person.
Title, Advice for Parents.
The advice that I would have for parents would be the same as that I would have for professionals working with students. Have high expectations, expect the same thing that you expect from sighted kids, from the blind kids. Teach them alternative techniques of blindness, whether it be in the kitchen, literacy, using Braille, technology, using a cane, moving around, having the same age-appropriate activities for your blind kids as you would have for your sighted kids, and give them every opportunity to succeed.
Title, Keys to Success.
As far as the skills and the attitudes to be successful, you have to believe in yourself. You have to self-advocate. You have to have the basic skills of blindness, the cane travel, or orientation and mobility, computer skills, Braille skills, public speaking. Every aspect of your life you have to be confident in. And as a result, you will go far. You have to believe that you're a person first, and that blindness is simply a piece of who you are, not what defines you. So please have high expectations for your children so that they can have high expectations of themselves. The major thing that I want people to understand about blindness is that we are people living ordinary lives. Parents, doctors, lawyers, teachers, vocational rehab counselors, scientists. We are people who happen to be blind, and that blindness is simply a characteristic of who you are, not what defines you. If you have the belief in yourself as a person, everything else will fall into place. We want the general community to understand that we are part of the society, of the community, and we are able to fully participate in all aspects of life.
Title, Closing Thoughts.
One thing that I want you to understand is to utilize the resources that you have available to you, whether it's a consumer organization like the National Federation of the Blind, whether it's the training center at the Colorado Center for the Blind, if it's with your children, a school for the deaf and blind like we have here in Colorado Springs, use the resources. There are parents groups that you can get together with, share your interests, share your concerns, and have the support network that you need to understand that you are not alone in this world. There are other people that have come before you and that will come after you that you can share resources with. Take advantage of scholarships. Take advantage of all of the resources that you have at your disposal, because you are part of a greater community. And we all have the same desires for your children, and that is to live full, effective lives, being independent, productive members of society.
Learning from adult role models who are blind or low vision has been a production of the Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind, 33 North Institute Street, Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80903, 719-578-2100, www.csdb.org. Videography by Deb Branch and Sean Leveille, copyright 2014.
Audio description, Jim Olson. Editing assistants, Diane Covington, Dr. Laura Douglas. Captioning, Neil Anthony Thomas, Corey McCormick. Transcription, Eleanor Vasquez.